This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
The analyst, Pete Bercich, courtesy of Sukup and Sukup Manufacturing is sukup.com, at Pete Bercich via Twitter for hardcore football takes. And things are so dicey with the Minnesota Vikings covenant. Pete's most recent eye in the sky YouTube post is him firing an M1 Abrams. I believe that's what it's called. And good morning. What's an M1 Abrams?
It's the United States main battle tank.
And how'd you fall into that?
We went to, my God, this is probably 10 years ago. The Red Bulls came down with a Chinook helicopter, landed at the old facility. A bunch of us went up there, probably like 20 of us. And it was kind of like kindergarten for a day. They shoot the machine guns, the saws, qualify on the range, do the simulators, and then they took us out on the tanks, got to fire a Bradley. And then ultimately in M1, it was almost as good as flying with the Blue Angels, but it was, I found some old video of it. I mean, this is a long time ago, and it's been something I just wanted to put out there, and I figured it might be the time. Yeah, it might be the time for a little romper room, little fun, and then we'll get back to business here in the next day or two. Yeah, it's a good diversion. 9 to noon is turning the page today on some things with the 2025 Minnesota Vikings, and that would include the way the run defense has worked out. So if Andrew Van Ginkel returns in the Lions game, undoubtedly that will help. But you hit on it during game calls week after week after week after week, and I think we both or underplayed it this game until we watched it back and or looked at snap counts. But that 44 for the LA Chargers, something called Scott Matlock, he had played 38 plays the 3 games up to our game, played 41 in this game. That's basic. It's a career high. So it's basically saying everybody from Fred Johnson to Darnell Washington, now Scott Matlock is doing this to you, and we're going to do it too until you show the NFL you can stop it, right? Right. And here's a couple of things on that, Paul, is that this is not the first week that teams have gone big on us. This is the 3rd or 4th week in a row that week after week we've seen extra offensive linemen. We've seen multiple tight ends. We've seen teams go big to run the football, and it's worked. The other side of that coin, however, is when you have a lead like the Chargers do, then you have the patience to run the ball. Right? You want to run the ball. You're in a situation where you should run the football. So, and then time of possession was almost 2-1 again on Thursday night. So there's a lot of things that can also go into helping the running game. But right now teams have the patience, they have the ability, and they have the big bodies to go ahead and do that. And they're just, we never saw that last year. We faced more passes. I think we were the number 1 or number 2 in the league, but we were right at the top with percentage of passes that we faced last year. Teams did not run the football on us for a number of reasons. Number 1, it was very difficult. Number 2, they were behind most of the time, and so they had to throw the football. So we're seeing a shift on. It's again, well, how do we fix it? What's going on? It's like, well, there's a lot of things. There's a ton of things, that are factoring into all this. But we see it. You're seeing it week in and week out, and teams look to us to get their run game healthy. And again, yeah, you're right. I mean, having Van Ginkel back is going to help, but those guys in the middle, the linebackers, all those guys have to play better. Now, offensively, a page turn could involve the reemergence of J.J. McCarthy at Ford Field against the Lions. If McCarthy indeed does start and we can actually get a series of games out of him, what would you be looking for? you're kind of going back to square one, right? I mean, you're looking for a rhythm in the passing game, and I think that's one thing that disappeared on Thursday night. I mean, if you watch the film, you notice Carson Wentz will get to the top of his drop, and then you pause the film there. Anybody can do this. But a lot of times the receivers are still in their routes. They're not even in their breaks yet. They're not turned. And so when you get to the top of your drop and you're a quarterback and you're trying to do your reads and the receivers aren't even in their breaks yet, then you have to either stand there and wait or, the rush starts getting to you. And these offenses at this time, it's so much timing. It's 1, 2, 3 plant throw, the receive. The offenses operate on timing, and our timing was just off. So for McCarthy, that's one of the things that you definitely want to see is to have some timing with this offense. Exactly how it's going to look, because it's going to change. It's not going to look the same as it did with Carson Wentz. That's going to be a factor. And then here's another thing too: is this Detroit defense plays a ton of man-to-man. Man-to-man all they'll play it all day long. They'll blitz you and play it. They'll just play it. So having those routes is going to be, having the man-to-man beating routes are going to be important. And then, again, the mobility of the quarterback to extend plays, it's going to be important too. So for McCarthy, those are the kinds of the things I'm looking for is just, again, some rhythm and timing to an offense. And not just having it break down. Him running for his life. Pete
Bercich, Sukup Manufacturing and Sukup.com. The analyst joins 9 to noon each and every Monday, about 10 o'clock. Vikings and Lions, noon from Ford Field this weekend. Javon Hargrave might be the last one here. Javon Hargrave, last 2 games, 40 snaps. All right. Now, it's like Levi Drake Rodriguez played 41 snaps by himself in the Chargers game. No knock at the second-year defensive lineman. It's just being a Hargrave fan from afar. Before he got here, maybe I'm mistaken with this. Maybe it never was like this because I didn't ask anybody. I thought Javon Hargrave was 3-down guy. I thought he would play runs and passes and just the whole thing. What do you think?
I think so. I think you're right on that, Paul. I mean, and this is just my gut. But we've seen kind of an evolution of the defense, year after year after year, and a lot of it depends upon the players that we have. And that's the prudent thing to do as a coordinator. You can't ask guys to do things that they're not capable of doing. But for some reason, Javon Hargrave, I don't think is just fitting into the techniques and things that they want to do up front. Now, whether that's, what that is, I don't know. Right. It's different than anything he's ever done. You look at his stance, his stance is very upfield. It's more of a 4-3 defensive tackle type of a stance instead of the squaring it up and playing into guys like we normally do. So that's different. Paul, I don't know. I don't know if he's just not wanting to, accept and just buy into the fundamentals and techniques that are needed up there, or they want him just to be himself and try to find a way to fit him in. And right now, with teams running the football, it's just not fitting in, and we're not getting the 2-score leads with the need to get a D lineman in there to get up the field. So maybe he's not fitting from that standpoint. I don't know, but. Up until his injury last year when he was with the 49ers, he was playing at a very, very high level, and it's just not translating to this year. So I don't know what exactly that is, but we need it. We definitely need more out of him. We need more out of everybody.
My brother, I will see you this weekend at Ford Field. Thank you very much for the time, and have a good day, okay?
Yeah, you too, Paul. Thank you.
See you, bud. Pete Bercich, Sukup Manufacturing and Sukup.com. Around the corner, Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He's Wild Immortality. He'll join us to chat about a fun night tomorrow night for the Minnesota Wild and a home game against the Jets. But first,
The Fan, along with 2 men in a junk truck, want to give you a chance at some bonus bucks, National Cash Contest style. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword credit. You might win some money with the keyword credit. Enter it at KFAN.com.
that is going on with you guys?
That's a very good question over there. The con? We are awaiting the arrival of Minnesota Wild immortality.
You lucky suckers.
Pierre-Marc Bouchard. Oh, Booch.
Oh, my God.
He was one of the guys. As the... You're not chortling today. You're not laughing. You're giggling a lot today.
I am, yeah.
Why are you giggles today?
Because
Giggly?
I just want to turn the page. Mm-hmm. I mean, it goes back to our conversation. It's like the dam has to have broken with the football team. Now, I know Pierre's going to come on, a happy quarter century Minnesota Wild, and that's going to be sweet when he joins.
You pot up the phone line real quick. Yeah, no, it's working. Okay, anyway. I want to make sure it was working.
But turning the page, right? I mean, the Wild, they're in a shootout with the freaking Sharks yesterday, the college team. And we're going to talk, we got a little NDN before we get to the college coach. Mm-hmm. But whether it's the Gophers game,
it's page-turning season. How much of that game against the Sharks did you watch last night?
About 10 minutes of it.
Oh,
yes.
You did?
I was just channel flipping. It's good to check in. But
same here. I flipped, and I think they might have been, were they down 5-2? Or was that the Utah game? Yeah.
5-2 was the final, I think, in the Utah game.
Yeah.
But they were down. They were down by multiple goals to the Sharks.
To the Shizzles.
Which is bad for business because you shouldn't be losing to the Sharks in lopsided fashion. They fight back, and then I think it was Celebrini. I got a highlight around here somewhere.
A Celebrini Celly.
But then it's like, okay, so at least like it's LFL season, so I can check out, the hoop side of things. Oh, wait, Anthony Edwards plays 3 minutes, and now there's a potential hammy situation.
Was it a hamstring?
I think it's listed as a hammy. Okay. I heard it was tight.
Well, because I jumped in, and here comes we'll get Pooch, one of the guys. I jumped into the Wolves game into the first quarter. I'm like, Anthony, what happened? Where? Oh, there he is on the bench. But I thought he was playing. What happened? Hamstring. Negative. Joker in the building this evening with Jamal Murray and newfangled Cameron Johnson. That's this evening at 8:30. Meanwhile, we segue. And they are very happy to be joined now by Minnesota Wild immortality. You see, the Winnipeg Jets are here tomorrow night as the Wild celebrate a 25th anniversary. Bobblehead tickets are available for tomorrow night against the Jets, meaning a Marion Gaborik bobblehead and autographs from Gabby, Brian Ralston, Stéphane Veilleux, or Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who joins us momentarily to share memories, are available right now at Wild.com. Tickets tomorrow night against the Jets with that bobblehead and autographs. Wild.com. And here comes Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He spent 10 seasons with the Minnesota Wild and is fourth all-time in assists. And here he is. Pierre-Marc Bouchard, it's Paul Allen. How are you, and how are things?
Hi, Paul. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. And thanks, A, for joining us, and B, for what you're doing tomorrow night with the quarter century anniversary. Let me just get this out of the way. You're 41 years of age, right?
That's correct.
Okay, a decade into it. How's retirement? I mean, what's it like when one retires? And it doesn't mean that you've retired from everything, but you had a nice career in the NHL, and I would imagine a lot of hockey up Canada way and other places went into getting into the NHL, and then at age 31, 32, you retire. Is the future scary in any way at that point when you retire from hockey at such a young age?
Well, some part of it, I guess. I mean, like you said, I started playing hockey pretty young, 4 or 5 years old. You pretty much have the skates on your feet every day, and then you just climb the ladder, and then you're able to achieve your dream and make it to the NHL, and all of a sudden it's all over. So the first couple years were pretty tough. You're so used to go at the rink every day. With the boys, playing in front of 20,000 people, the emotion, the adrenaline you can live through the hockey. So it was a little bit tough the first 2 years, but after that you kind of get your groove, you find a different schedule, and life goes on, and you're you're able to live different experiences.
A wonderful answer there, and thanks for the honesty. And it's I would imagine the concussions that you had during your career probably played into this. Okay, so we can't do anything about that, but we can wonder now. Removed from the game, settling into a life with family and friends and new opportunities. How is the brain? How is your head? Any concussion related symptoms?
No, I'm pretty lucky, Paul. Thanks for asking. I mean, I think when I had some concussion with the Wild, the team doctors and the staff were pretty smart about it, and I was able to recover pretty well from them. So right now, I no headaches, no different symptoms. So it's all good. I'm able to enjoy my life, spend time with my family, do different activities. So it's all good.
That's fantastic. Pierre-Marc Bouchard, 9 to noon. Your first season with the Wild, 02-03, and a few years to follow that. All right. Was that as much fun playing hockey as maybe you've ever had?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, it was so much fun being part of the Wild, being drafted by them, able to be there 10 years. First season as 18 years old. I was not playing every game, but I played 50 games that first year, and you guys all remember that playoff run we had. So that was my first year. So I was like, wow, this is the NHL. That's pretty fun. So let's try to do this every year. I guess it didn't work out that way, but it was still a great time. And
the one of the, if not the highlights from that run, Andrew Brunette, with the shot in Denver on Wah in Game 7. I mean, that was spectacular. What was Andrew Brunette like as a teammate? Personally speaking, he's one of my all-time favorite athletes of the 4 pro sports in this part of the country. In the 27, 28 years I've done this radio show. I love Bruno. What did you love about him?
Well, he was one of my all-time favorite teammates as well. I mean, I got there as 18 years old, and Bruno was, maybe 10 years older than me. He was a great mentor. He was there to help me out, on and off the ice. He was a great player, a great person, and I only have great things to say about him. And I'm pretty happy for him that he found his way as a coaching coach. He's been coaching in the NHL now and having success, so that's pretty cool.
Have you, Pierre-Marc? I don't know how much you watch of the NHL or the Wild, but have you seen much of Kirill Kaprizov? And if so, what do you think?
Oh yeah. I keep following the Wild. And, Kirill is so much fun to watch. I mean, he's the full package, right? He's got everything. He's got great skill, good vision. His one-on-one battle are amazing. He's got that good attitude. He's, he wants to win every night. So I'm pretty thrilled for the Minnesota Wild fans, for the team for the next few years.
What made Marian Gaborik such a high-end player? And you're 4th all-time on the team in assists, and I would imagine a fair amount of them went the way of Gabby. So, what made him such a high-end player? I
mean, his speed was tremendous. I mean, for a loose puck, in neutral zone for a breakaway, I think he was one of the fastest I ever seen, to go get that puck and get that breakaway. And then one-on-one with the goalie, he was deadly. So he was fun to watch.
What was it like playing for Jacques Lemaire?
Yeah, Jacques, he was great for me. I mean, he's one of the best coach, who's been around in the NHL. Pretty smart, knows a lot of things about the game. He was good to me. I was, as a young age, it was great to have him to support me and guide me through my first few seasons. I think he did a great job in Minnesota. We never had, yes, we had Gabby, we had Rolly, guys like Bruno, but we never had like Sidney Crosby or Kaprizov or all those guys, and he was able to get the team together, and we were always competitive and battling for a playoff spot or making the playoffs. So that's all on him.
So the Winnipeg Jets are here tomorrow night. They were the Atlanta Thrashers when you entered the league. I think they played at Phillips Arena. What if anything do you remember about games in Atlanta? Shoot, I remember back in the late 70s when they were the Atlanta Flames, and I'm watching the Washington Capitals at Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland, and Jim Craig came out of the Olympics and played for the Atlanta Flames. What were the Thrashers like in games in Atlanta?
Well, not many people in the stands. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. It was pretty empty there. So, beside that, they had a couple of superstars. Kovalchuk was there, Danny Eatley was there. So they had some good players, but I think it was kind of the right decision, I think, to bring back a team to Winnipeg, and now the Jets are rolling.
Booch, thank you very much for the time, and enjoy your travel back to the Twin Cities. First and foremost, we have the celebration tomorrow night and everything, but God bless you and your family with the concussions and no lingering or lasting effects from it in your early 40s.
Yep.
And best of luck to you, my man. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you, bud. That's Pierre-Marc Bouchard. He's part of a Minnesota Wild 25th anniversary celebration. That begins tomorrow night. You can get anniversary bobblehead tickets, which include a Marian Gaborik bobblehead. And you'll get the opportunity to get an autograph from either Booch, one of the guys, Gabby, Ralston, or a Stefan Veilleux. Veilleux, Veilleux, me, we skate together naturally. Go to wild.com, and also the jerseys. The Wild are going to wear 25th anniversary jerseys for the first time. Sicky in the hockey business, we call them sweaters. So paying homage to the team's inaugural season, special 25th anniversary sweater features the iconic Wild logo, original Wild script and font, and gold accents on the white sweater. The sweater is available for purchase at the Hockey Lodge and online at shop.nhl.com. And yes, Negative Dave, listening from afar in Arizona, they do have 3XL.
I always love that one.
Here comes News du Nord.
Brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. No reason to be negative about Canterbury, whether it's feeling the felt with poker, blackjack, and table games all year long. You can do the NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge on Thursdays, where you're going to get weekly winners, but also at the end of the year, somebody's going to get free fuel for a year, courtesy of Quick Trip. Canterbury's the absolute best. CanterburyPark.com. To the Howl, it was Pascal Siakam and then just about nobody else last night, PA. And Julius Randle's 31 points helped the Howl beat the Pacers at Target Center. Watching some hamstring tightness of your Anthony Edwards, however, he was able to go for just 3 minutes. And I saw something, whether it was Johnny Krasinski, I hate to attribute it incorrectly, but it was something about hamstring tightness, and potentially this is something that was actually seen and was lingering from L.A., so he potentially sits tonight. I'm seeing scores and odds. They have the Nuggets in town, and it's they're 5.5-point favorites over the Wolves at Target Center tonight. So is that a potential early lean that you don't expect Anthony Edwards to play?
Yes.
But Ant potentially, given the fact that we've seen him writhing in pain and then he bounces back, maybe Ant plays tonight. We shall see. But they'll need him. The text line... I saw somebody talking about Aaron Gordon. How about Aaron Gordon going for 50 against those Dubs the other night? Mile High City squad, Ball Arena, go crazy. But at Target Center tonight, the healthiest that you're probably going to see the Nuggets are here, and they're a tough team to handle.
Well, Anthony with this swoon over his hammy. All right, so he plays 3 minutes. I think he had 5 points in 3 minutes, so he might have been sitting on a big one. But nevertheless, he was on the bench and he was bouncing up and like by the huddle and stuff like that. So, outside of the covenant, Dr. Chow, so to speak, trying to pretend like I know what's happening, even though I'm like not there with the team. I'm going to guess things are pretty much okay for Anthony. However, what would concern me is we had a questionable into the first game with back spasms.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, it was a very, very questionable situation. Very, very 50-50, I should say. And then now we leave with a swoon over the hammy. So it's just too early in the season to be dealing with things like this. And by the way, they almost got beat. And this Indiana team, with Halliburton or without, with Nemhard or without, with Miles Turner here or in Milwaukee, that these guys give the Timberwolves fits.
They do.
And I don't know if it's the Wolves like looking at the names on the back of the jerseys or the rosters and, you know, seeing Neesmith and, oh, there's Pascal Siakam. Okay, we got to pay attention to that. But we got like Bradley and Mathurin and just Shepard, some nondescript players where they think they can roll it out and beat them. Well, they were right last night. But that's not always the case when they play Indiana. Hopefully a better performance takes place tonight against Denver.
I don't know how much you've been watching the World Series, PA. Game 3 is tonight. It'll be Scherzer for Toronto and then Tyler Glasnow for the Dodgers. Jays just jumped up and just battered the Dodgers in Game 1. But then the other night, Game 2, it was, just classic. Get to the bullpen, and then all of a sudden, Will Smith hits a home run. Max Muncy goes yard, and they stretch it out. They win 5-1. But Game 3 tonight, I felt like it would probably go 5, and I was somewhat surprised that Toronto got them the way they did in Game 1. Not sure where your head's at, but getting that first one does give them an opportunity. The Blue Jays, that is, in a heavily favored series towards L.A., but they got to get it done on the road now with the next 3 in L.A.
It's been terrific. I've watched almost every inning. I really, really enjoy the World Series. But it's, even if you're an outsider like 9 to Noon or you're of the seam head variety like Ken Rosenthal and you're following every single pitch, it's abundantly apparent that if you can get to the Dodgers bullpen, you will win the World Series.
Yeah.
That's it. That's just pretty much the end of the story. The Glasnow, Snake Bell, he got knocked around a little bit in Game 1, and then, they get into that bullpen, and one of those guys who gave up 3 runs in like 2 minutes. So if Snake Bell, along with Glasnow, Yamamoto has been the story. He was the story of the first 2 games of the World Series. Who in the heck pitches complete games anymore, A, and B, let alone in the World Series? Yamamoto pitched a complete game in Game 2, A, because they don't want anything to do with their bullpen and they know it. And that was the first one in like a decade since I think Johnny Cueto when he pitched for John Ekstrom's Kansas City Royals. So that's an absolute aberration.
It's 2 complete games in a row for him.
He did it in the NLCS too?
Against the Brewers, yeah.
Jeez!
Yeah, and it was a 5-1 win.
He has MVP credit to him if they happen to win this thing.
Yeah, and I think, he gave up a home run, I think, to the first batter. It was first inning for the Brewers, and then just went 9, cut down 8 or 10 in that game, and then last night gives up an early run, does the exact same thing, or 2 nights ago, I should say. Lastly, Lions on a bye. If we're checking out the NFC North, Ravens handle the Bears. Derrick Henry with a couple TDs, I believe. And then, you got to give him props. Jordan Love with 360 and 3.
Looked great.
He was fantastic last night. They were struggling to run the ball. I think Emmanuel actually outrushed Josh Jacobs yardage-wise in that game. Jacobs did get in the end zone, but they said, hey, I want to see if Jordan Love can beat us. We're going to stop the run. Jordan Love was terrific last night. Let's pause.
And Green Bay, I believe, improved to 5-1-1. The Minnesota Vikings start a string of divisional games coming up here momentarily. They'll have the Lions Sunday at noon, pregame at 10 with Muss from Ford Field. Then the Ravens after that here. Then the Bears are here a couple of weeks from Sunday because the Vikings are 1-0 in the division, only have played 1 division game. So when it comes to turning the page and eliminating the consternation, the calamity, and or the gridiron gospel-related gore, we move to the other page. We tell you what we think that looks like tomorrow. But for now, we chat with PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team. That takes place each and every week, 9 to noon, and it's around the corner on FM 100.3 KFAN. PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team, joins 9 to noon weekly off a bad one against Iowa into what undoubtedly will be a better one against Michigan State. That's next, and it's here at Huntington Bank Stadium. PJ joins now, and I know there's learning to take place at all times, and even off the Iowa game, but now there have been a couple of those lopsided ones, and they're different. I understand that. What has your attention off that one and into the Spartans game? And good morning, PJ.
Yeah, well, good morning, PA. Thanks for having us on the show. Now, I thought our team played incredibly hard. We just executed really poorly. Anytime that you lose a turnover battle 3-0 against Iowa, that game's going to look like that. Well, it doesn't matter who you play. That's how they play. Force you to turn the ball over. Can't do it. Force you to play really good special teams. We didn't. And, force you to play a quicker game, which we did the same thing too. And they were able to hit some explosive plays. So we lost 78% ball tackling and explosive plays. And when you lose all three, especially when you're playing Iowa at Kinnick, that's what the score looks like. So proud of how hard we played, just executed really poorly. And with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, we're already down, 31-0, which changes everything. So there is no pill. Every week is a chance to change our best and respond. And we're 0-0 and have to find a way to be 1-0 this week.
Maybe Parker Fox just joined the equation, so he'll be asking questions here momentarily, Coach Fleck. But maybe the music lesson this week is Ludwig van Beethoven. And they listen to classical music all week to just chill. What do you think of some Ludwig van Beethoven, PJ?
I really like that. I mean, there's actually a study to classical music that you can gain a percentage point here and there after you work out and after you practice to listen to classical music to bring yourself down, help your body recover. So maybe that's a great suggestion from your. So we do it after every practice. We listen to that after practice, but maybe focusing on that piece would be really good for the musical piece. So we'll see. We'll take that into consideration, PA.
Do you like any form of classical music?
Absolutely. Actually,
really?
I've been listening to today. I had a classical music going on ever since 6 this morning in my office right now. So, yeah, absolutely. So we had a little Swan Lake going on today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Absolutely.
What with the lessons, Ludwig van Beethoven or not, quarterback Drake Lindsey, what lessons can he take from Saturday moving forward? And after the game, PJ, you said something I really liked, and I can't say in all my years of chatting with you or chatting with other people about young players in this game that I've heard anybody say it the way you said it. It's paraphrasing. I like how you said with Drake Lindsey as a freshman, there will be some dark times, but you can't skip the step. You're right. That was fantastic. But what kind of lessons did he get out of this moving forward?
Well, there's a bunch of lessons if you look at the performance side of a quarterback, but the peaks and valleys, especially when you're young, are going to be way bigger than as you grow and gain experience and you have leather skin and you add another scar. And, this is all about the decision I made, PA, to play a freshman quarterback. That is my decision.
Right.
Everything that happens is my decision. And really based on the decisions I make in the offseason. When you decide to play a rookie or a redshirt freshman quarterback for the first time, you already know that there's going to be some massive peaks and valleys. You know that. So this doesn't surprise me that there's peaks and valleys. It surprises everybody when you go through the season of when those happen and you're looking at that game during a one-game championship season mindset. But for me, I know that they're coming. Last week, he played outstanding. This week, a little inconsistent. And there's a certain way to beat certain teams, and we did everything but do that in this game. And you're going to learn a lot from it. But you have to be willing to go through those steps. I don't think it's avoidable. I really don't. I'm sure there's stories out there where somebody was able to avoid that, but there are going to be some really, really good times. There's going to be some really, really hard times. And when you make a decision to play a young quarterback, you've already made that decision of you understanding that. How big of those situations are, how big those are, that varies based on skill set around them, health of a football team, players around that player. That all goes into the equation. And we weren't very good on Saturday, and that is completely unacceptable, and that is 100% my responsibility and my fault.
Hey, Coach, Parker Fox here. Great to be with you this morning. We know the bread and butter of Gopher football is established in the run game. Running back by committee at the U, but only one snap for your star, Darius Taylor. Kind of, how do you move forward in the running game and establish that early for the upcoming game on Saturday?
We got to find ways to be able to run the football. Last year we found unique ways to throw the ball, to run the ball, right? And we were able to have a run game through the air. Every team presents its own challenges, and every team presents their own opportunities. Whenever you have your star player, he's not playing. There's a reason he's your star player. Your backup's done for the year, AJ Turner. And so when you start getting to the bottom of that or the middle to the bottom of the depth chart, doesn't mean that you're not very good. You're probably just lacking experience. And for us, we're lacking experience in that position. That's not the issue. It takes your O-line, tight ends, quarterback, wideouts, and running backs to have a really successful run game. And we have to stay consistent. This game, we were out of it so fast, Parker, that, again, what happened at Ohio State happened at Iowa, where we weren't able to establish our run game because we didn't earn the right to establish that run game. You got to earn the right to do what you want in a game, and you got to go take that from somebody, and we didn't establish that at all.
PJ, at this stage of the equation where you've played as mmany games as you have, likewise for the opponents, how challenging or tricky is it with the we know that you know that we know that you know? Like you said there's a formula to beat Iowa. And, of course, you're not going to share the details or specifics exactly of what that formula is. But, at this stage of the season where teams have seen so much tape and they've seen so many plays and, then you're dealing with injuries and stuff like that. Like, how challenging is it to game plan and change things week after week?
Well, that's the fun of it. That is the fun of coaching. And our coaches work really, really hard in that. Players work really hard to execute the game plan at a really high level. But it really comes down to the three things we talk about all the time, PA. And it's the formula to beat Iowa is you got to win the ball, the takeaway. You got to be able to win the tackling battle, and you got to win the explosive play battle. We lost all three, PA. So I'm always focused on why we lose, why we win, how do we win, how do we lose. That's my responsibility. And then being able to fix those things, enhance those things as you go through the next week. And right now, the ball, tackling, explosive plays, we didn't win any of those. And that's why we lost, and that's why the number was staggering, because when you lose all three, it's pretty lopsided.
Okay, so Iowa, let's say the determination is made that Iowa is a better overall team than Nebraska. Well, when you're at home for one and road for the other, I understand that. But like a week ago when we chat and I talk about the assignment, the being on point with assignments and things like that in that game, and the last one was so sloppy, and you say that you take the blame here 10 out of 10 times, or 100%. That's what you said. But just like that has to be so frustrating to you, PJ, for the detail nature of games to flip the way they did in just a single week.
We're all working towards striving for and earning consistency, PA. I think that's an NFL organization, that's a collegiate program, that's a high school program. The more consistent you can be based on knowing what you're going to get out of your team and knowing what to call and exactly what's going to happen is the close to perfection as we're going to get. We get judged on a perfect level and an ideal level where we don't live in that reality. We live in a real world, right, with young people from 18 to 23 years old. Jim Tressel said it best. I asked him why he coaches college football and not the pros. He said, you just never know what you're going to get with 18 to 22-year-olds. And that stands true today. Right. And I think that's the part of education and teaching. And, we get paid to win. I said that last time. But I love to do the job because I love to teach and educate. And you're going to go through a gamma of all types of things. Some really good, some really bad, some really hard, some really, really fun. But you're constantly teaching through all of that until somebody tells you not to teach anymore. And I think that's what you continue to focus on as a coach is just focus on what you can control. Players have to focus on what they can control. And Mike McCarthy said it best when I played for him in San Francisco. He said, a job of a coach is to teach and demand. A job of a player is prepare and perform. Whoever does that better and understands those jobs and can do that more consistent on a weekly basis is probably going to win the game. And it still rings true to this day.
Right. Yeah, that's very fairly explained. With Michigan State, with Sparty, what's the formula to beating them?
Well, it goes back to, we have to win the turnover margin. We have to be really good tacklers and be in position to tackle and swarm tackle. And then we have to create more explosive plays. We're playing, a defense that's really active, a defense we're very familiar with Joe Rossi, who used to be here, our defensive coordinator, and doing a great job out at Michigan State, and has a lot of players, a lot of depth that they rotate guys in. And then offensively, everything starts with their quarterback. And, he can get out of the pocket. He can scramble. If you give him big running lanes, he can make explosive plays with his feet. He's got a live and big arm. They've got one of the best receivers in the Big Ten to throw it to. So we have an enormous challenge this week to respond. And, we've got to take one play at a time. And one day at a time, and continue to get better.
Lastly here, thanks for the time too. After that Iowa game, if I missed something here, and you've talked about this, I apologize. But when you watch it back and you see Hawkeyes hitting Lindsey and others, let's say below the belt, in below the belt fashion, what's the reaction?
Well, you never want your quarterback to get hit. Period. You don't get to control how that happens with how they get hit, but you get to control whether you protect him or not. And I didn't think we did a good enough job protecting him. I didn't do a good enough job of preparing him for that game to be able to do that. And you got to give Iowa a lot of credit. They create a lot of issues for a lot of teams that they play. That's what they're known for. And you do everything you can to minimize that. And I did not excel in that area. That's for sure.
Tear it up against Sparty, and we'll chat next week. Okay.
Appreciate it, PA. Thanks for your time. We're the Bercich guy. Go Gophers. Skull Vikes. Thanks, buddy.
Yep. See you, bud. That's PJ Fleck, coach of the Golden Gophers football team. He deflected that last question.
Yeah.
Because he's smart and he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Turnover. Here come the Hawkeyes. Parker Fox at Parker Fox 24 via the X machine. Here come the Hawkeyes. Lindsey, kind of an innocent bystander. Somebody, a safety guy role. Just absolutely annihilated him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's the type of hit that could end collegiate careers.
Yeah.
Now, it can be toughen up, Sally, and have your head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. You're still between the hash marks. Mm-hmm. Okay. But there also are, unwritten codes in sports where that's the quarterback. There's a different way you can hit him.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a 10 of 10, zero respect it just lacked respect.
Yeah.
In my estimation. What'd you think?
I agree. It's one of those insult added to injury, right? Like you're already getting beat bad. Maybe your head isn't on the swivel the way it should be. If your attention to detail isn't there as much, you're trying to fight for points and you get big hits like that. My guy, Kendrick Lanier, number 15, was just standing there on one play and an Iowa guy comes and just complete targeting missed call. So you just don't want to see that from guys, right? It's one of those things where it's like, there needs to be a little respect factor here, but also, Pia, you got to earn that respect, right? Like if you're not putting a good product on the field, and I'm not saying, hey, go hit guys. That should completely not be the deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. Like there's that unwritten rule in football. It's the quarterback. You're already up big on him, but you don't love to see that. I don't think Kirk Ferentz loves to see that either. There needs to be respect there from both teams.
And I don't believe what we're talking about here might have been number 4, 2 or 4 or something for Iowa.
Yeah, I remember.
Because I saw it out of the corner of my eye live and then didn't pay attention to it until the next day. Then I saw it on social media. I don't even know if that's within the rules or out of bounds. Okay. So maybe it is within the rules. Cool. If this is just me, and that this is difficult to lay out because it encourages people basically to cheat.
Yeah.
Okay. To go out of body and take a bad situation and make it worse. I'm just assuming there was not one teammate on the field who saw that take place with their quarterback.
Yeah.
Because if anybody saw it, I don't care if it's Pee-wee, if it's middle school, if it's high school, if it's college or pros, somebody has to go find that guy and run him down.
Totally.
Right after he does it. Not okay, it's not the hockey rules.
Yeah.
This happened in November and I got you in March. Okay? Right there. Don't you think?
I agree. That's a tough question.
How did nobody run up on that guy?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question for me because I was always raised on the don't retaliate. The retaliation guy gets the penalty. Right. That's the 15 years, that 15 yards you're hurting your team. Like,
that's a good point.
But also,
and I'm turning the other cheek guy too, but that's the quarterback.
That's the quarterback. And that's exactly where I was getting to is that's your guy. Nobody touches that guy. Even PJ said you don't want your quarterback touched in general. Where's the offensive line? Maybe nobody saw it. Who knows? But I do agree. I'm not telling you to go illegally hit somebody, throw his face mask, start throwing punches. You don't need to get kicked out of the game for this. But also, hey, that's our guy. We're sticking by his side, regardless win or lose. There needs to be a little bit of that. And who knows, PA? Maybe somebody didn't see it. I know we're kind of taking the high road here.
Next segment with Parker, we'll get into the Timberwolves. We'll get into some Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers from last night, walking up to the Sultan of Smug, joining us 30 minutes from now. Some Vikings and Lions commentary, plus much more. And that's going to be our Steve's Appliances marathon segment. If you go to the website, stevesappliances.com, you will notice they're having a clearance event. That if you need appliances, that's probably the best news you've gotten all day because you get fast delivery, free recycling, and guaranteed low prices. Restrictions apply there. But if it's a clearance event, that means they're moving. That means the getting's good. That they got new stuff coming in and they want to get rid of stuff that's not old. It's just relatively new. And the cut prices on these appliances, holy cow. stevesappliances.com with those marathons. Back after that.